How's it going, Pokemon fans? Blaine here for Bridgeport Games, and as we know, Pokemon Day 2024 is almost here. And with it, we are going to get a ton of information about what Pokemon is planning for the next year. But just like always, we have a ton of predictions circulating online of what people think we're actually going to see when Pokemon Day does roll around. So I thought it'd be fun to take all those predictions and rank them on a scale of what's most likely to happen, all the way down to what's least likely to happen. Some of these predictions are really out there, so this should be a lot of fun. If you like the videos we produce here on the channel, make sure you smash that like button in the face and of course consider subscribing. That kind of stuff really helps us out, but without further ado, let's dive in. Alright, so as you can see on our tier list here, instead of having the S, A, all that stuff, we have almost guaranteed, likely, maybe, unlikely, and no chance. So let's start out with one that I am almost guaranteed I am right on, and that is going to be Gen 10, the 10th generation of Pokemon. Whatever follows Scarlet and Violet, that's going to be going in no chance of happening. So, Pokemon is very consistent with every 3 years. It was all that way from like X and Y all the way up till now. Every 3 years we get a new generation. The last generation came out in 2022. That was 2 years ago, not 3. So we are not going to get any information on Gen 10. And you know what? I think that's a good thing. They need to take their time, sort their stuff out, give us a higher quality product. So that is fine. Now, next up, the thing everybody has been asking for is new Legends games. So the two kind of possibilities we have are Pokemon Legends Kyurem and Pokemon Legends Celebi. We know we're either dealing with Gen 2 or 5 this time, so I think these are probably the most likely, if any of those are even going to happen at all. Now, personally, I don't think either of these are really all that likely, but I think they could happen. We do know they're dropping a lot of Easter eggs about Gen 2 and Gen 5. We've been getting a lot of Johto music, all those Unova Easter eggs we got back in the DLC. So I'm going to go ahead and put both of these in maybe. The Pokemon Legends Arceus was a huge hit. Everybody really liked it. So, they probably are going to tinker with that formula again in the future. I don't know if we're going to be getting it now. But if we are, it's probably going to be one of these two. All right, now next up we have a new Let's Go game. So on the announcement they made for Pokemon Day, there was hints of like Johto music in there. So a lot of people think this is almost confirmed. And there were kind of like leaks saying there's going to be some kind of Let's Go, maybe like a Wooper and Togepi. I don't know if that's, all that possible, but I do know that Niantic has been doing very well. They did have a bit of an earnings drop last year, so they probably do actually want, something to bring more people in. So I would say either a new Let's Go game or something Let's Go connected. So I think that's definitely one of the more likely possibilities. All right, a new Mystery Dungeon game. Mystery Dungeon is one of those fan favorites, sort of like side games that everybody loves. We had a new one several years ago. We got Super Mystery Dungeon, and then we had the remakes on Switch. Anything is possible. I just don't necessarily think they're doing much with it right now. Pokemon kind of has a lot of irons in the fire, and I think they're working on a lot of things like apps as opposed to kind of like side games, so I'm actually going to put this one in unlikely. I don't think it's no chance, with not a lot of these are going to be, quite frankly, but, with the Mystery Dungeon game especially, I just think there's not a huge chance of it coming, especially when people want some bigger, more exciting news. And, not to say that Mystery Dungeon isn't a huge deal, but it's just not quite the impact of something like a Legends Celebi, for example. I know, admittedly, this one is kind of vague, but a new app, some kind of new game on our phone, I'm going to say that is almost guaranteed. Pokemon always has something new coming out, be it, their Magikarp jumps, their cafe remixes. So even just getting something announced that's brand new, I almost can't see that not happening, so that's definitely going to be our first almost guaranteed. Another one for almost guaranteed is going to be a new distribution. So I think actually a new distribution is probably more likely than the app to actually happen. I don't know if it's going to be like a previous Mythical. We just got Darkrai, and then we got Meloetta, not through a distribution, but we did get it in the DLC for Scarlet and Violet. So it seems like they're trying to kind of fill in some of those gaps in people's collections. There are still a lot of Mythicals that are kind of hard to get, and some of them are still shiny locked, so it'd be great to get those. Another possibility would be like the shiny motorcycles, Koraidon, Miraidon. Even, I know we're not going to get it, but probably shiny Pekarant would be cool. All right, another one fans have been asking for is Pokken 2. I don't want to be a pessimist, but I'm going to put this one in unlikely as well. And honestly, I think it is more unlikely than the new Mystery Dungeon game. Pokken has its fans, definitely. I played the game, I enjoy it. The graphics look fantastic. However, they cut the support for it in organized play at like Pokemon Regionals and Worlds. I just don't think that they view that as being the direction the company wants to go in. Could be wrong, could totally be wrong, but as it sits right now, I don't think we're going to be getting Pokken 2 anytime soon. And if we do get another sort of fighting game, they may be taking it in a totally different direction entirely. So I just think as far as that actually goes, I wouldn't hold your breath. All right, the next one we have is a new special edition Switch. You know, I think that is probably pretty likely. So, you know, we think that generally, from what we've heard, there's going to probably be a Switch 2 coming out pretty soon. So what does Nintendo want to do kind of at the last leg of its previous system's life? Push out as many consoles as we can. And how do we do that? With special edition consoles. So obviously the one I have here is just a skin to kind of show it off. But they did do the Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu one. They also did the Scarlet and Violet one. So I imagine if they're announcing a new game, particularly like Let's Go or something like that, we're definitely going to be getting, you know, some kind of console to go along with it, just to kind of give them a last-minute push to build up to the next generation coming out probably at the end of this year or next year. All right, next up, the Nintendo Switch 2, the successor to what we have right now. There's a lot of predictions about it coming out. A lot of people are excited about it, but what are the odds that we're going to get an announcement for it in the Pokemon Presents that we're getting in a couple days? I'll answer that for you right now. No chance whatsoever. Anything like this would be saved for like a big announcement that is more generalized than just Pokemon. So it's saved for like a Nintendo Direct or even like some kind of presentation at like an E3 or something like that. So I don't know exactly what that would consist of or when we'd get that kind of presentation, but it's definitely not going to be anytime soon. All right, I'm going to skip around here and we're going to talk about Virtual Console Pokemon games. And you know, when I'm talking about this, I mean like the Game Boy games. Red, Blue, Yellow, Gold, Silver, Crystal, and then the ones on Game Boy Advance, Ruby, Sapphire, all that good stuff. I hope that that happens, but the problem is I think they don't want to pay fees or something like that because why wouldn't they have given it to us sooner? Because they know we want it. They'll know we shell out money for it. So I really don't think it's going to happen. But just to make myself feel a little bit better, I'm going to go ahead and say maybe. All right, moving on to our remakes now. So based on that Johto music we've been hearing, the question I hear from a lot of people is what about Gold and Silver remakes? Just straight up, not, you know, Let's Go's, just straight up new versions of the game. Kind of updated for the modern day. I don't quite know what form this would take, but I'm going to go ahead and say this is possibly likely. So what I'm saying is maybe they do a remake of kind of like a Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, but it's updated for like a Heart Gold Soul Silver on the Switch. I don't know exactly what form that will take, but based on how many Easter eggs we're getting for Johto, I'm actually going to say this is more likely than possibly even the Let's Go games. I do still think a new special edition Switch of some kind is more likely than both. We're definitely getting something, you know, Johto themed. We just don't know yet exactly what form that's going to be. All right, and for our very last entry on the tier list, for whatever reason, there wasn't a graphic included for it, but that is going to be Black and White remakes. So kind of in the ilk of, you know, Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, you know, all those games that we've had before. A remake of that for the Unova games Black and White. So is that going to take the form of Black and White 3, or is it going to take the form of like really black and very, very white? Who knows? But, you know, based on how many Easter eggs we got in the DLC for, you know, the Indigo Disc, I am going to actually have to put this one right at the top in almost guaranteed. I would not be surprised if we got those as kind of our holiday games for this year. I don't know how all the Easter eggs for, you know, Johto tie in, but the fact that we have so much just hitting us over the head with Black and White, Black and White, Black and White, and in terms of the remakes, you know, we had Fire Red Leaf Green, Heart Gold Soul Silver, Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. This one is next in line. And, you know, it does tend to have those remakes right before the new generations do come out. And again, that's pretty much the time that we have right now. So as far as I'm concerned, Easter eggs line up, the history lines up, and the timing lines up. I would not be surprised to see these under your Christmas tree coming this year. Alright, so there you have it. That is my ranking for all the Pokemon Day predictions for 2024 that we've heard of so far. Let me know what you think about my ranking down in the comments. Do you agree, disagree? Do you think I'm smart, crazy? Whatever it is, I want to hear from you. But that being said, guys, thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out with me. It really means a lot to have you guys all here with me. And that being said, if you guys did like the video, please make sure that you Giga Impact that like button in the face. And of course, consider subscribing to the channel because as we are still growing, that kind of stuff really helps us out. So that being said, guys, I hope each and every one of you have a happy, epic, awesome, and amazing day. And until next time, I'll catch you on Pokemon Day. See you guys around. Bye-bye.